Hey everybody, this is Perch. I've seen a couple videos on ComicsPro. ComicsPro is this retailer event that happens every year. And this year, for whatever reason, I'm seeing some videos where people are trying to explain what it is. And I kind of chuckle a little bit because, first of all, ComicsPro has been going on for quite a long time. It's not a massive event. I think a bunch of these people in their YouTube channels are like, I came in and it was small. It was like, where was the big show floor? No, it's not a convention. First of all, it's for retailers, and there is some kind of related industry admission into it, but it's not like open fan access. Now, a lot of comic shops will do this little thing where you can win a contest, or if you really ask them, I know a guy local is like, you really want to go, we can apply, you can go. And so you get fans in there, but it's not meant for fans. It's not designed for fans. And if you're there thinking you're getting like New York City Comic Con plus, you're not. You're not getting any of those things. You will get a couple announcements from some of the publishers. It's over the years, it's been kind of mixed if the publishers come or not. So you're not really guaranteed anything. And the announcements that are there typically are ones that they'll put out in press releases right before the event. So you're not getting like breaking news. You may, if you are able to kind of buddy up, if you have an existing relationship, you may be able to talk to some of the people from the publishers, but many times, sometimes not. So anyway, it's been a little funny to watch people kind of discover Comics Pro this year. I'm not sure why, why this year. But anyway, it's out there. Um, and like I said earlier, it's meant to be a retailer event. Now, if you go away from comics for a moment and you go to other areas where you have a B to B to C business. Now, if you listen to this channel for a while, you know what this means, but spare me for the next 20 seconds while I explain. A B to B to C business is called a business to customer. And that is the comic business. It's basically a publisher will come up with titles, will come up with a product. They'll sell it to another business, the retailer, who will then sell it to you, the customer. And that's a B to B to C business. It's not unique. Many businesses are. If you think about kind of the relationship of a company that makes soap, and they produce soap and they put it in a box and they ship it off to Walmart or Target, and then Walmart or Target sells them to you. That's called a B to B to C business. Almost every business is that in this in America and in the world. And then just for the sake of making it clear, there's a direct to consumer business or a B to C business. And that would be a lot more analogous to crowdfunding, or you order a comic online and then they ship it to you. Okay, so for example, what Eric July is doing is a B to C business. Now, for what it's worth, I've seen some people talk about like one business is more pure than the other. And a lot of the people in the B2C or direct to consumer business will talk about how their business is better somehow. It's not. This is just supply chain. This is getting product to people. And if you're going to do any kind of product at scale, meaning you're going to ship, hundreds of thousands of copies. I'm clearly not talking about comics here. I wish I was though, right? Anyway, you're going to wind up in a B2B to C business because that's how this country is formed. You have big box stores, you have online resellers, you have a lot of businesses that are well established. I mean, Amazon is a thing. So is Target and Walmart and these other places. And all of those rely on people selling their products that are then going to be resold to you. Okay. I'm not going to get into margins or anything else. But anyway, the point I'm making in all this is whenever you're in that type of business, there typically are, retailer or reseller conventions and meetings that happen. Now, why? Like, what is the point of those? Well, generally, if you're talking about any business, it's for the first business in the comics industry, the publisher, to help communicate changes to their pricing strategy, to their shipping strategy, marketing approaches that help sell their product. Now, why would they do this? Well, because the first business believes that the customer, the C in this equation, doesn't have everything they need. And so they need to step in and help. They need to communicate ways. Many cases, these companies that make these products have techniques or understand what their product better than the reseller, and so they want to communicate, hey, here's what we've learned, here's what you want to do, here's some promotions you want to get on top of, here's some rebates that are going to help you sell your product. This is information we're passing on to you so you can then run your business more effectively, and running your business more effectively means selling more of our products. So if I bring that all the way back to comics, and hopefully you're still with me here, I understand this is really boring. I should really be saying something like, and half those companies are gay. The gay. The companies, they have the gay lesbians that are right in it. And they suck because the gay lesbians don't do the DEI hires and they don't know what they're doing. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to, get you back. You'd fallen asleep during that boring description. So, just try it. Anyway, the the challenge with comics is if you go to ComicsPro, there's kind of two problems. One that's a newer one. The first problem is that's not really what happens. In theory, you'd want the distributor and the publisher up there going, "Hey, let us show you some data. Let us show you some information about how the product's being sold and where it's not being sold. And hey, here is a success for us, and you guys underordered it. Here's how we avoid that in the future. By the way, we're going to be offering some returnability over here, and that's going to allow you to order more safely. And then we have this new program here where if you get, like 80% utilization on the product, and we're going to give you an additional discount here. Here's how you qualify for that. And by the way, if you've been having trouble, their diamond steps up. Like if you've been having trouble with products coming in damaged, the challenge there is that you need to get replacement copies, but it can take a long time to get them for you. And by that time, people are no longer interested in the comics. So here's how we're going to speed that up. And this is what you need to do in order to get that replacement to you faster. That's what the conference should be. And if you go to other conventions or other, conferences like this one in other industries, that's what it is. It's that. And, for what it's worth, that comic industry desperately needs that. They don't need announcements over, hey, we're going to put out a 6-issue limited series featuring Gwenpool. I'm sorry, we're going to call it an ongoing, but wink, it's a limited series. That's not helpful. First off, that kind of news to a retailer, it doesn't mean anything. The retailer is perfectly happy to consume new title announcements online with everybody else, or when they look at the catalog. Even if you do something like massively moving the needle, like, hey, we're announcing John McFarlane is coming back on Spider-Man, Jim Lee is coming back on X-Men, and Rob Liefeld's coming back to do X-Force, and John Byrne's going to be on Fantastic Four. We're launching all that in September. Order big. Like, even if that wouldn't be a good news announcement for a retailer convention. What would be a good news announcement is if, they announce those things and then they sat down and were like, all right, guys, many of you are broke because your businesses are not doing well. So here's a loan program. We realize that these comics are going to be a big deal. So here's how we're going to market them. We want to show you how to do that. Here's how you get your store in there. We've decided to launch an online retailer search portal that's going to help people, get to your store. We're going to launch this ability to float things where we'll send you the copies and then you'll pay for what you sell, or like whatever. That's what it should be. So problem number one is that the purpose of that conference, it doesn't really show up. What generally happens, and as somebody who's been to that show many, many times, the retailers kind of get together and bitch at each other, and little factions start to group together. You get if Hibbs goes that year, you get him over there with a couple of his cronies and buddies, and you get, Brian over on a different area, and you get Dave down in Florida over another area. You get like the different groupings. Tony's like, I'm not showing up to that shit at all. Anyway, that's what you get. So that's problem number one. Problem number two is a more new developing problem. And I say it's a problem, although it's really just a reaction to what has occurred. And that is, by the way, I'm sure the microphone is filtering this out later, but there's the most insane shit going on outside my window right now. Anyway, the second problem is that, for ComicsPro, it's a retailer convention about comics. And the elephant in the room right now is that comics are the B product or the supporting product in comic shops right now. The A product, the one that is more the front and center product in the vast majority of comic shops, are trading cards, are, Pokemon, which is a beast at the moment, tabletop gaming, Magic the Gathering. That's, that Disney one, maybe. I was talking to a friend. He's like, this Disney card game is just selling like crazy. I'm like, yeah, but it's always in stock. And you're always out of Pokemon and in many cases, the new Magic stuff. The guy's like, yeah, but I'm selling this Disney one. I'm like, yeah, you are not. Hey, there's boxes of it right here. Anyway, regardless, I'm sure somebody's going to come in the comments like, actually, it is selling very well. I'm sure it is, pal. I have no idea. I'm not looking at those numbers. Anyway, the challenge is retailers are showing up this convention, but they're only sub-interested in what information is being presented there because it's definitely the supporting product. It's not the primary product. So, Marvel gets up there and they're like, hey, we've got a new Chip Zdarsky Captain America series coming out. You're going to be very excited. And the retailer is like, okay. I mean, maybe. I could get excited about that, I guess, but let's do the math here. Let's say I order 150 copies, right, for the shelf. And let's say my margin is like, 30%. But first we're going to calculate the total amount. Okay. 150 and it's $4.99 as a book. All right. In my shop, that means $748. We'll call it $750 of cover price that we're getting. Except, my margin is 30%. All right. So we're just going to make it easy math. So let's say it's my take home is your margin's not 30%, by the way. I don't want anybody smoking crack and thinking you're making that much money. But anyway, let's say we're walking away with $250 on Captain America. Okay. And then there's some deals. Maybe we'll get some variant covers and some other things there. Might be some shipping charges. At best, this announcement of a Captain America book for a shop and shops are not going to be ordering 150 copies of a book. You're maybe walking away with, if you really went in on variant covers and if you're able to sell out and all that kind of stuff, you're talking about, I don't know, $500. And don't get me wrong, $500 is $500. That's pretty good. But just by comparison, you import in a couple cases of Pokemon cards from Japan. You're selling those cases for what's the new one? There's an Eevee set that came out recently, and resellers are buying that thing for $18 and marking up to $130. I'm just saying, you sell it in one run. You sell 5 of those boxes, you're making more than this Captain America announcement. So it's and I can promise you, if you're a publisher or a creator, as a reseller, a retailer who's sitting at these round tables and staring up at the presentation, you're like, hey, Captain America over here. And you're like, yeah, okay. But, I'm going to make that in, an hour on trading cards and games right now. So it's a little bit like, there's a reseller convention for Walmart and like the company that has the vending machines comes in is like, let me explain to you the amount of money you're going to make off this claw machine. Kids are going to come in, they're going to put $1 into a claw machine, they're going to get a little duck. It's going to be huge. It's going to be huge. That's you're welcome. You're welcome, by the way. You're welcome for the ducks we're bringing. That's the challenge. Anyway, ComicsPro, it's an interesting event. It's a necessary event. Yeah, I saw a bunch of channels trying to explain and wrap their heads around what it was, and they're like, I don't know why they even do this. There should be a convention with a show floor. Like, no, this is a very important event. It's just it's not being run properly. But there we go. Thanks for listening.
Fuck.